Hi guys, one button that says Director Chat. Today we're looking at the Shattering world of Joel Schumacher, so let's get into it. One button that says Director Chat by directors. They were talking about Joel Schumacher. Before you do it, don't forget to subscribe and notification bell for his algorithm. So today we're talking about Joel Schumacher. I'm going to go through his movies and get time for them to start. So in 1981, we had Incredible Shrinking Woman. This was a science fiction comedy film. This was Joel Schumacher's first movie, and it starred Lily Tomlin, Charles Grodin, and Ned Beatty. It made $20 million on a $10 million budget. So I've not seen this movie. I don't know if it's good or not. So yeah, that's the Invisible Shrinking Woman. Then in 1983, we had DC Cab, also known as Street Fleet. Is a comedy film. It's based on a story by Topper Carew and Joel Schumacher, and it stars Alan Baldwin, Charlie Barnett, Irene Carla, Annie DeSalvo, Max Gale, Mr. T, Jose Perez, Paul Rodriguez, and Gary Busey. I made $60 million, $80 million budget, and I've not seen this movie either. So yeah. And then so then in 1985 we had Saint Elmo's Fire, which is a coming of age film. It starred Rob Lowe, Demi Moore, Emilio Estevez, Ali Sheedy, Judd Nelson, Mel Winningham, Andrew McCarthy, Martin Balsam, Andy McDowell. It made $37.8 million on a $10 million budget. It received negative reviews from critics but was a box office hit. That's St. Elmo's Fire. Then in 1987 we had The Lost Boys, which was a supernatural black comedy horror film. It starred Jason Patric, Kiefer Sutherland, Corey Haim, Jamie Gertz, Corey Feldman, Edward Herman, Barnard Hughes, Diane Wiest, and it made $32.2 million, $8.5 million budget. It was a critical commercial success. It has been described as a cult film. The success of the film has spawned a franchise with 2 sequels and 2 comic books. I think this is one of my favorite Joe Schumacher films. That's The Lost Boys. Then in 1989 we had Cousins, which was a romantic comedy film. It starred Ted Danson, Isabella Rossellini, Sean Young, William Peterson, and Norma Alandra. It made $22 million. This is an okay movie, so that's Cousins. Then in 1990, we had Flatliners, which is a science fiction psychological horror film. And it starred Kiefer Sutherland, Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon, William Baldwin, Olivia Platt, and Kimberly Scott. It made $61.5 million on $26 million budget. It received positive reviews. A follow-up film, which wasn't directed by Joel Schumacher, was released in 2017. It also featured Sutherland in a starring role. So that's Flatline. This is a great movie. Then in 1991, we had Dying Young, which is a romance film. It's based on a novel of the same name by Martin Limbach. It stars Julia Roberts, Campbell Scott, Vincent D'Onofrio, Colleen Dewhurst, David Shelby, and Ellen Burstyn. Made $82.3 million, $80 million budget, and they received mainly negative reviews as Dying Young. Then in 1993, we had Falling Down, which was a crime drama thriller. It starred Michael Douglas, Robert Duvall, Barbara Hershey, Rachel Tickerton, Frederick Forrest, and Tuesday Wild. Made $96 million, $25 million budget. It received mixed to positive reviews. Then in 1994, we had The Client. This was a legal thriller film. It starred Susan Sarandon, Tommy Lee Jones, Maurice Parker, Anthony LaPaglia, Anthony Edwards, and Ozzie Davis. and it made 117.6 million, $45 million budget. Mostly positives from critics were surrounding Jones's and Renfro's performance, in particular earning high praise. And this is a really good movie. So that's The Climb. Then 1995 we had Batman Forever. This was a superhero film based on the character of the same name. The third installment of Warner Brothers' initial Batman film series is a standalone sequel to Batman Returns, and it starred Val Kilmer, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey, Nicole Kidman, Chris O'Donnell, Michael Gough, and Pat Hingle. It made $336.6 million, $100 million budget. I see mixed reviews who praised the performances, visuals, action scenes, and soundtrack. The film was a box office success. It was a six highest grossing film in 1995, and I actually like this movie. I don't think it's the best Batman movie, but I still think it's okay. I thought Val Kilmer was an okay Batman, so that's Batman Forever. Then in 1996, we had A Time to Kill. This was a legal drama. It's based on the 1989 novel the same name by John Grisham. It starred Sandra Bullock, Samuel L. Jackson, Matthew McConaughey, Kevin Spacey, Brenda Fricker, Olivia Platt, Charles S. Dutton, Ashley Judd, Patrick McGoohan, and Donald Sutherland. It made $152 million, $40 million budget. It received mixed positive reviews, and so this is a good movie. So it's A Time to Kill. In 1997, we had Batman and Robin, which was a superhero film. It is the fourth and final installment of Warner Bros. Initial Batman film series, and is the only film in the series made without the involvement of Tim Burton in any capacity. It starred Arnold Schwarzenegger, George Clooney, Chris O'Donnell, Uma Thurman, Alicia Silverstone, Michael Gough, Pat Hingle, and Ellie McPherson. It made $238 million, $125 to $160 million budget. The film was considered a commercial disappointment at the time. The film received generally negative reviews from critics, and is considered to be one of the worst films ever made. And due to the poor reception, Warner Bros. Canceled future Batman films, including Schumacher's planned Batman Unchained. And it's considered one of the worst. Yeah. So that is Batman and Robin. I don't like this movie. That's Batman and Robin. So then in 1999 we had AMM, which was a crime thriller film. It starred Nicolas Cage, Joaquin Phoenix, James Gandolfini, Peter Stormare, and Anthony Heald. It made $96.6 million, $40 million budget. It received mostly negative reviews, but was a box office success. And so that's AMM. In 1999, we had Flawless, which was a crime comedy drama film. It starred Robert De Niro, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Barry Miller, Chris Bauer, Wilson Germain, Heredia, Daphne Rubin Vega. Made $4 million on $50 million budget. So that's Flawless. Then in 2000, we had Tigerland, which was a war film. It starred Colin Farrell, Matthew Davis, Cheryl Wickham, Clifton Collins Jr., Thomas Curry, and Cole Hauser. And it made 148,000. It received positive reviews for its story, direction, flawless performance, screenplay, and emotional weight. The film was a box office bomb. It is one of Schumacher's best reviewed films in his filmography, just Tigerland. Then in 2002, we had Bad Company. This was an action comedy film, and it stars Anthony Hopkins, Chris Rock, and Gabriel Macht. It made $66 million on a $17 million budget. It was panned by critics. And so that's Bad Company. Then also in 2002 we had Phone Booth, which was a psychological thriller film. It starred Colin Farrell, Forrest Whitaker, Katie Holmes, Radha Mitchell, and Kiefer Sutherland. It made $97.8 million, $30 million budget. And received positive reviews and was a box office hit. And so Phone Booth, really good movie. And then in 2003 we had Veronica Guerin, which was a biographical crime film. And it starred Cate Blanchett, Jared McSorley, Kieran Hines, Brenda Fricker, and Shields, and it made 9.4 million, $70 million budget. The film was a financial failure, becoming one of Schumacher's poorest performing films in his career. He also received mixed reviews from critics. While Blanche's performance, screenplay, and score were praised, Schumacher's direction received polarized responses, while cinematography, lack of depth, and violent content received criticism. So, the 2004 we had Phantom of the Opera, which was a music romantic drama film. It's based on Andrew Lloyd Webber's 1986 musical of the same name, which in turn is based on the 1910 French novel Le Fantôme de l'Opéra by Gaston Leroux. It starred Gerard Butler, Emmy Rossum, Patrick Wilson, and Miranda Richardson, and Minnie Driver. It made 154.6 million, $70 to $80 million budget, and it received neutral reviews from critics, but was well received by audiences. Critics praised the visuals and acting, particularly the performance of Butler and Rosen, but criticized the writing, directing, and unnecessary deviations from the stage version. So it's Phantom of the Opera. Then 2007, we had the number 23, which was a thriller film, and it's done. And it starred Jim Carrey, Virginia Madsen, Logan Lerman, and Danny Huston. Made 77.6 million. It received negative reviews from critics, and it's number 23. Great movie. This is an okay movie. Then in 2009, we had Blood Creek, which was a supernatural horror thriller film. It starred Dominic Purcell, Henry Cavill, Michael Fassbender, Emma Booth, Shia Wiggum, Laszlo Matre, Raina Winklevoss, and Jay McBride. It made 211,000, and so it received mostly negative reviews. And then in 2010, we had 12, which was a teen crime drama film. It was based on Nick McDonald's 2002 novel of the same name. And it stars Chase Crawford, Rory Culkin, Curtis Jackson, Emily Mead, and Emma Roberts. It made $2.6 million, $5 million budget. And it received negative reviews. And then finally, in 2011, we had Trespass, which was a crime thriller, and it starred Nicolas Cage, Nicole Kidman, Ben Mendelsohn, Cam Gidderdent, Liana Liberato, Jordana Spiro, Dash Michael, Emily Mead, and Nicole Torella. It made $10.1 million, $38.7 million budget. It was panned by critics, and sadly, Joel Schumacher passed away June 22nd, 2020, at the age of 80, making Trespass his final movie. And although he died, most of his movies will be iconic, and they'll be influence, and that they will always be great. And so that's pretty much it. That's the Shattering Joel Schumacher. So guys, so much my videos. My next video. Bye.